I'm Michael Rodgers. We farm at Higher Farm Beeson in Devon. We've got a 160-acre beef suckler herd farm, a number of 40 cows and followers. We grow a little bit of vegetables, but we've also got an education centre on the farm, and we're in HLS. We do a lot of work with hedging, hedge laying. As much of the farm is in HLS as possible, as an exemplar of what could be achieved by people going into stewardship. We've been here for, let's say, 3 generations. The trees have always been an important part of the farm. 1970s brought the flower hedge trimmer in and decimated a lot of the field hedges close to the sea. And if you've now got a problem with bracken, it really overtakes any hedge, and it's taken 40 years to really get hedges back into a hedge as opposed to just an Devon earth bank. What we've done in the last few years is to bring the hedges or the fence away from the hedge by about 1 metre more than we'd normally do, and at the foot of the hedge plant trees to double up the width of the hedge. The advantage of having the double hedge gives A, more protection for livestock, B, a lot more cover for birds, but to make them more productive we have been planting the ash trees in beside them, because half of the village houses have wood burners, and we supply everyone in the village who needs logs from the farm, but we do not take any wood from the woodland. It is quite a productive or profitable job, trimming the hedges down, cobbicing them out. It's very rewarding. There's a financial advantage, an environmental advantage, and also an aesthetic advantage. Or part of the HLS scheme is education access, and we do regular farm walks. We do between 60 and 70 a year with various primary and secondary school children. Send a Cow approached us last year in 2011 to see if we could host an African farmer for a couple of weeks. At the end of the fortnight, the schools were impressed, but we also work on the farm with Trees for Health, and Liz Turner, who helps me on the farm, said, why can't we try and mimic what Charles is doing in Africa here? So we've taken 1 3-acre grass field out of the rotation and made it into half of the field is a new forest garden, and the other half we are using as alley cropping. We run the trees north and south to capture as much sun in the alleys as possible, and then that prevents east wind, which comes off the sea, west wind, which is prominent, and we also got a northern protective shelter belt, so that we've got 4 little enclosed paddocks, and hopefully the microclimate will increase in temperature 1 or 2 degrees, who knows. But this year we've successfully grown lentils, soybeans, quinoa, and harvested them. Woodland Trust are keen to get involved with what we're doing and increasing the productive nature of our hedges. This is what I want to do. I don't want a hedge to be seen as a nuisance, as some farmers see them, but actually as a very productive element of the farm. We've planted ash trees beside thorns trees, bushes, to double the productive nature of it for logs, but also we've planted a brand new hedge which is 200 metres long of solely edible or medicinal purpose trees. And also at the end you'll go through this 200-metre lane and end up in a nut tree orchard. We're currently looking at a new project with the Woodland Trust. Using hedges which are not in HLS, we will fence them, and then about 1.5 to 2 metres away from the hedge, and start putting in non-native trees such as apples and pears mixed in with some ash and whatever other woodland trees might be appropriate. But we want to show that I think it's important that apple trees are not always best grown in an orchard. If you've got one apple tree amongst half a dozen other hedge trees, then another apple tree, there's less chance of disease spread. The existing hedgerow will still continue to produce logs for firewood, but we can then produce a food producing part of the hedge. So I think the total productivity of that field will be increased by planting edible trees. Don't grow trees just because it's the done thing. I think it should be done as a productive part of the farm, but something you've got an interest in, something that you would wish to benefit from.